Happy Sunday, apprentices. So when this COVID lockdown happened to all of us, were you truly ready for it? Just like if the markets changed, have you practiced other strategies so you're truly ready for it? That's what's next on today's show. Trading Forex or any other financial instrument carries substantial risk. The topics discussed on this show are the views of the host and the producers only. You should consult with your financial planner before investing in Forex or any other financial instrument. Don't be a dumbass.
Welcome to the Day Traded Plumber, episode 43. I'm Matt Simpson, but you're not here for what? Oh, no, you're still not here for me.
Dude, I think there's quite a few listeners that are very intrigued by Matt Simpson. Your punctuation is just impeccable.
Do you even know what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what punctuation is, dude.
Did you figure out where London is yet?
Yeah. I did a little geography studying after your tormenting of dumb American who's never been overseas and probably skipped geography class. But yeah, I get it now.
Unrelated to that episode, you managed to chase away a client this week.
You know, you can't. I did. But you can't make everyone happy. As I'm learning as an entrepreneur, I mean, these are lessons you learn in any career you're in. You know, you manage employees. They're not all going to be receptive to change and things that you're doing. And yeah, we lost a client in the Telegram Journeyman group this week because, you know, he was specifically, I think, you know, everyone gets into the channel for different reasons. And obviously, I think he's was an options trader and wanted to dabble into Forex and was looking for more swing position style trades, which generally I try to do in the channel because, you know, I trade, sends a signal out. People are busy. People are in a meeting and, you know, gives them a little bit more time for the entry. And, you know, this week, things are really flat out of the beginning on higher time frames. But there was price moving. So I switched into my scalping strategy. I try to tell people in the channel, hey, I'm going to be scalping, so there's going to be a lot of signals coming. Choose to take them. If you're too busy, don't take them. But I will switch into normal longer range trades if they're available. You know, nothing against the guy. You know, he was very polite about it, but, you know, canceled his membership and was like, this isn't what I was looking for. And, you know, Matt does it really good at following up, you know, because we're really trying to provide something different than anything out there and provide really good customer service. But at the end of the day, I'm trading my own live account. So I have to take what the market gives me. And I really think long term, it's what's going to differentiate this service from any other signal service out there because we're really trying to grow a small account, right? We're not just there to send signals. We're there to actually trade it like we're supposed to, like it's a business. You're running a plumbing company and you only, let's say your bread and butter is building multifamily apartment buildings. When times are good, you can be picky and choosy.
In terms of what work you're going to take on?
Right. So you run a plumbing company, you're just crushing these type projects you have the highest margin on. Your team is ready to knock them out. Well, what if those slow up? What if they're not available? Do you just stop plumbing? Do you just go dry? And, you know, trading is a little bit easier. You could just not trade. However, I'm running a channel. People are paying me to get signals. And just like a plumbing company owner, he's got employees he doesn't want to lose. He's got overhead costs that he has to cover. So you take on school remodels, right? Probably the worst type of project plumbers like to do. They usually have it way too tight of a schedule because the kids leave May 22nd and they're back August 1st. And we want you to completely remodel the school and be ready for next school year. And we're cheap. We are going to beat you down on price. So school remodels are probably the worst type of job in commercial plumbing. Now, I know some companies that completely modeled their whole business around chasing those type projects because they're always available, because no one wants them. So just like trading, like I've always said, trading is just like a business. If you have practiced and you are ready to adjust, and I put some emphasis on this, like we said in the hook in the beginning, you need to have these strategies or this, you need to have practiced it. You need to have back tested it. You need to have done it 1,000 times. So when you adjust, and like I had to this week, into a scalp strategy, it's not something you watched on YouTube and just are trying it out for the first time with your live account. And, you adjust. Just like if you're running a plumbing company and you needed to adapt and take on a project, you probably wouldn't take the biggest school remodel. You might ease your way into them, and then maybe that might be another department in your company because you build some crews up that like doing schools and are good at it.
We have friends who decide they're going to be just residential service plumbers. They're going to go and do their own thing. And then they go and they decide, well, you know what? Service, maybe that's not my thing. I really don't want to put on slippers to walk across the carpet in the basement. So I'm going to get into new residential construction. And then they realize what a shit show that can become. And then they get into commercial and they go, oh shit.
Even bigger shit show.
Even bigger shit show.
I go get paid for 90 days.
More pressure and lower margins.
Well, and there's a lot more prep work, right? Submittals, right? You ask a residential plumber that he has to submit to an engineer what he's going to use, has to meet a spec book that this engineer put out for bid. And then there's a process. You got to submit it. They have 2 weeks to review it, then a week to approve it. Then if you don't time all of that before you need to purchase it, and you just throw this packet and start purchasing it, and then they come back rejected, you just bought a bunch of shit you can't use.
And you end up doing administrative work and pushing paper instead of laying pipe.
Right. And, it's a graduating process that most... For instance, me starting LNFX starts with a thought. Hey, man, I'm doing good trading. Enough to quit my job or my career, start a new one. I'm living the dream. I get to wake up when I want. I have a robot that trades for me all day. I got plenty of money. I got a beautiful family. It's the American dream, right? But then you go, I need some sort of stimulation. I need something to do. I need people to talk to. You can't go from 100 miles an hour to absolute zero.
I need somebody to yell at.
Right, and I have young kids. It's not like, oh, let's travel the world and let's get let's buy one of those Mercedes Sprinter vans and just travel the country like everyone wants to do. You can't do that with 3-year-olds, right? So I created LNFX. And, the first thought was, I don't really want to do anything that's going to be hard. So I'll just get some software, adapt it, see how many people out there just want to copy my trades automatically. And at that time, I was like, it's got to be automatically because I'm going to go after people who have a little bit of risk capital, who... The majority of people I know at the time never wanted to learn how to trade. but they have $10,000 to $50,000 that they could put into something if I give them some solid historical data to show them that this thing does make money, and you're not going to have to lift a finger, right? There's a setup process. You pay me a monthly fee, and it's going to automatically copy what I'm doing. No more work for old Clayton here. I just let the robot trade, or I take my discretionary trades in my account. It's going to send it to potentially millions of other accounts. And I say that because in the beginning, I'm like, this, if I just double people's accounts, they'll tell their friends. And, I kind of worked just like most traders put a spreadsheet on. If I make 10% a week and compound that interest, fuck, I'm a millionaire in 6 months, right? I did the same thing with business model. Well, if I get 25 people and those 25 people are happy, they're going to tell 4 people. Now I have 125 people, and shit, this thing could grow to, I actually said this once. If I get 1,000 people, I'm cutting it off. No more. And I really thought at that time, especially with the amazing trading I was doing in the beginning, I would get to 1,000 people in a year. And my troubles are gone. I have a very profitable business, and I'm doing no more work. And now I have 1,000 people to interact with and write a newsletter to every week. And, we could all drink champagne about our perfect trade results. And it's not the case. It's always harder than you think. It's always more work than you think. Now I'm sounding like Grant Cardone's 10 times book. But the point I'm trying to make is you have to go into endeavors knowing it's going to be more work than you expect. But you have to be receptive of that. But you got to be able to adapt, right? LNFX has pivoted greatly since the first day I started it. Greatly. I never thought I'd be building trading courses. Actually, it was the furthest thing from my mind, and you were the one that kept pushing me for more, right? Like, dude, we could do courses. We could write books. We haven't done the books yet. I don't even know where London is. You want me to write a book, but maybe one day.
You talk, I'll type.
Well, I'm thinking the book's going to be less instructional trading and more of my story. Because I could tell my story and maybe get people a little motivated. The people out there who hate their job, who hate their marriage, who hate their relationship with their kids. I'm going through a separation right now, and the hardest part is spending time away from my kids. It is, bar none, the hardest part. And I know everyone goes through it, and I could see now, a month or two into this, and very busy, how someone can start to slip, especially the man in this, can start to slip into, it's okay to see my kids once every 2 weeks or every other weekend. And, that's torture. And then, you got to fight for what you want in life. You got to make the effort. You have to be there. Whether it's not perfect, right? Like right now I'm struggling with, I want a set schedule. So I know which days I have them. Well, it doesn't really work because their mom's a nurse. She works weird hours and weird days. They're never the same days. And I feel like it's more valuable to be accommodating, especially with me working from home, and I could pretty much set my hours, than to just be in this struggle. And, back to the point, the markets weren't giving me long-term trades this week. They just weren't. Or I just couldn't see it on the charts. And if you've been doing this long enough I wake up every day and I analyze 28 currency pair charts. And
that's the majors.
The majors and the crosses. And I know exactly what I'm looking for the 3 or 4 strategies I use. And I could quickly go through them. And if I don't see anything, I move on. I go to another setup. And quite honestly, there's times where I know they're there and I know there's decent setups, but maybe I just got burned. And, there's something to be said. I got burned 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where I lost 67% of this journeyman channel's capital right after a 10% week. Sometimes you got to sit back, analyze where you're at, analyze where your thoughts are, and, you got to adjust. And I felt this week the market was giving me plenty of scalp trading opportunities. Plus, what have I said before? When you take a big loss or you're not feeling as confident and just don't feel like you're in the zone, you got to ease your way back in. And, I just was not in the mode to put long-term trades on and go through the drawdown that some of those strategies, will yield you. Because you're looking at hourly chart, possibly a daily chart, and you're planting a pretty good seed in a good spot. But I was trying to zero in and get trades, painless trades. That's what I call them. When you just nut the entry, and within like a minute and a half of being in it, I'm already seeing blue on my MT4 app. Feels good. But yeah, it ultimately cost us a client. Maybe he was on the edge already, and it was just a really good excuse because he got 3 or 4 signals within 15 minutes. All were profitable. And, I made 3% that day on those 5 or 6 trades that we took. That in my mind, I said, hey, I'm going to be scalping today. They're going to come hard and fast. Be ready. If you're not ready, just don't take them, But I get it. Still filling out how to trade a smaller account balance, how to make people overseas in our channel have the same experience as people here in the U.S. Because let's face it, you trade 24 hours a day. So they're up when I'm sleeping. So if you're in a signal service and every time you're up, they're sleeping and there's no signals. So I'm trying to branch out and put some pending orders in, put some scalps in. I'm really trying to learn or be cognizant of at least making them aware that what style I am.
That's a huge word for a big man.
Oh, come on, dude. Cognizant. You should say you pronounced it correctly, not that it's a big word. Because everyone knows the word. Not everyone can say the word.
Do you know what a 5-tool player is in baseball?
A 5-tool player? I'm going to just go with my gut here, which normally you tell me not to do. If I don't know the answer, don't guess. But I'm guessing. He's a good hitter. He's a good fielder. He's a good leader. And he's cheap.
No.
Okay.
5-tool player applies to position players.
Okay.
So that means it excludes designated hitters and pitchers. So we're talking about everybody else.
Okay.
5-tool player is excellent or more than serviceable, is good at hitting for power, hitting for average, which are 2 completely different skill sets, right? Fielding, base running / speed, and throwing.
So basically, if you're the manager, he's a very good tool to have in the toolbox because you can rely on him at the plate to get on base or hit power, get people in. And when he's fielding, he's not going to make errors. He's clutch at that position. And then when he's on base, you have to worry about him getting picked off or being the anchor. So not Barry Bonds.
Or cuddling a goat, right? You don't have to worry about any of that.
Okay.
Having said that, we know traders who are sluggers. They have a high strikeout to home run ratio, but that home run is going 480 feet every time.
Right. I mean, we've used that baseball reference a lot in trading. quit swinging for the fences, quit looking for the home run. And we say it all the time. One of the worst things that can happen to a new trader is
instant success.
He gets lucky his first 5 trades and he's hooked. We all get hooked in trading. Just the essence of it, right? The fact that you could have a $300 computer and within a day get MT4 on it, watch a couple tutorials. You can put MT4 on your phone. There's an app. And you'd be trading a demo in 2 minutes. Literally 2 minutes opens you $100,000 demo just by putting the app on your phone. And watch a YouTube video on how to navigate through. Or if you're kind of like me, just push buttons till you figure it out. You're trading. People look at these big moves in the chart and they're like, man, if I could just catch that. It's the same thing in baseball. If you hit a home run your first at bat, that's all you're going for. And you're going to start striking out. Your team's going to be like, come on, dude, just get on base.
Or you're going to hit the warning track every time.
Yeah, I mean, what's an extremely good batting average in baseball?
Extremely good?
Well, like 300 to 400, you're top tier.
Well, you're not Tony Gwynn. So extremely good is about 320.
Right.
But remember, we're talking about 5 tools. And the reason you need 5 tools is because you need to be able to play.
Right.
You might be in a park that's not left-handed power slugger friendly. So you just need to hit the gaps. Or you might be having a terrible day at the plate, but you can make up for it in fielding.
Exactly. Trading is the same way. If you're excellent scalper, you're an excellent swing trader, you're an excellent reversion of the mean, you're an excellent trend trader. A lot of people out there will tell you you got to settle on your one thing, and I'm a big believer in that. You need to have your bread and butter, but the longer you trade, and when it becomes your career, and there's going to be some controversy around this, because if your setups aren't there, you just don't trade, and that's true. But you can broaden your horizon by practicing and getting good at a few other. Like, I can trend trade just as good as I can counter trend trade. I could trade in sideways markets. I could trade in uptrends and downtrends. It didn't come easy. And in the beginning, when you have everything coming at you from every angle, it's not doable. Just like a guy's first year in the majors, right? You talk about a 5-tool player. Your first year in the majors, you're still adjusting to the speed. And man, if he could just be a good hitter and work on the other things. Trading is the same way. Most of what is being taught out there, what you see on YouTube, is someone like myself, or hopefully a real trader, trying to walk people down the path in how they feel is the correct way. And I felt it a lot building these trading courses, because I had to actually put how I'm trading into like rules so I could teach it to someone. I didn't realize how much of my trading is intuition when you have to define it, or when people are watching you trade. And they're like, oh man, glad that trade was awesome and it worked out, but what made you get in it? What indicator did you use? I didn't. My spidey sense told me price action's part of it. You use indicators. But after staring at charts for 10 years, pretty much a lot more in the beginning, now I can scan through them pretty fast, pick what I see out. And, as Allen FX evolves, now I do recordings of it, and I'm getting better and better at trying to see it from someone up from the other side. What are they going to want to see? And, if I'm trying to describe how I see this trade, how do I talk in terms that's where it's taken some involvement on my part to be able to truly try to go down the path as someone who's now going to try to educate people in trading. It's way different. For instance, when you teach someone how to solder pipe, there's the steps. You got to clean the pipe. You got to ream it. You put the thin layer flux, not too much, but not, can't be too skimpy on it. Then you put the fitting on, and then you inspect the fitting. If there's too big of gaps, because sometimes fittings get molded with too big of gaps, if your ego as a plumber is like, I'll fill that gap with solder, right? But you know, if it's not snug, doesn't happen all the time, but when we started getting copper fittings from Mexico, nothing against our Mexican buddies down south, but you start getting some bigger tolerances. So now if you're teaching someone how to solder, you teach them the steps. Put the heat on it, right? Put the heat on the back side. The flux starts to bubble and you test it with your solder, right? You're testing it. When it starts to melt, it should suck in. The solder sucks into the cup. And you can describe it to the person you're teaching. But at the end of the day, it becomes, how does it feel? Way different when you're on a tri-vise and you're in a shop with no wind, the perfect size tip for the job, and it's in a controlled environment, and you're teaching them. But if that person does it once, and then you're like, hey, man, go out and solder the world. He's passed my test. Soldering is one of those things you teach them. Now you got to do it 1,000 times. You got to do it in a hole. You got to do it when you can't see it.
Upside down.
And then, position soldering is even better because now you got, where's it going to drip? It's going to drip right on your face. And you're going to learn a lesson pretty quick. Trading is no different. I can tell you the exact steps of a strategy. And that's why so many people out there are just like, well, they watch a strategy on YouTube. They don't practice it. If they're really eager, they got a $10,000 live account. And they're like, I just watched some guy that seems trustworthy. And his strategy's something I haven't seen other people do. It must work. And then they start doing it on a live account. In our live AMA last week, I was showing everyone.
That's our weekly Ask Me Anything
right.
/training. That I have to cut you off. We were originally going to do it for half an hour. And then you just decided, I'm going to do it for an hour every week.
Yeah, an hour before we record an hour-long podcast.
Right.
So, I showed the group, here's how you backtest. And guys, the technology is way better now than it was when I got in. There was no rewind button on TradingView. I had to use Strategy Tester on MT4, which it's okay. But, you have to load like an EA or an indicator in it to test it, right? And you didn't have all these tools. I mean, it's so easy now with TradingView to just take a chart and go back, and you can practice 1,000 trades on a daily chart in, well, maybe not 1,000. What'd we do? 25 trades, in 15, 20 minutes on a daily chart, which I went through maybe a year's worth of chart on it. So, guys, there's no excuse to practice these strategies you're thinking of using, 100 times. Then you're going to get a really good sample size of its probabilities. And guess what? You, the trader, just watched 100 of these trades happen, and your confidence level, when you're wrong on one, that's when you stop and you're like, what could it have prevented this? And the whole time, at the end of the day, you're just going to be wrong on a certain amount of them. It's just the market's nature. So it reminds me of a story when I was building the Hyatt, Regency Hyatt, downtown Denver, Convention Center Hotel.
How many years ago was that?
Early 2000s.
How was your hairline back then?
Full head of hair.
Because I'm looking at your head. It looks like you missed a few spots. Did you shave yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't be bothered.
No, I got them all caught.
You couldn't be bothered to take your hand and follow the clippers?
Well, I live alone now, and I got a really tiny shaving mirror to try to look at the back of my head. But I think I got it all. But building the Hyatt, early 2000s, long before prefab, long before some of the things as the business progressed made it easier. I was tasked to build the mechanic room. the boiler room. Pumps, domestic hot water heaters, boilers the size of my car.
It's the heart of the building.
It's the heart of the mechanical system.
Is it the heart or the brain?
Well, the pumps would be the heart. Call it the nervous system, everything.
Okay.
Right? So now I'm ecstatic that I was chosen to build.
What was that word?
Ecstatic. So, when you're early in your mechanical career and you get an opportunity to build the company's largest mech room, don't get me wrong, I was half plumber, half pipe fitter at this time, right?
How many square feet are we talking for a mech room? For the largest mech
room?
Well,
now they're getting way smaller because the equipment's getting smaller. But back then, I'd say maybe 5,000 or 6,000 square foot room.
Wow.
Now the chiller room was way bigger. Chiller room was in the basement, but this room was level 5. It was on the roof of the ballroom, 5th floor. One stairwell went to it. The construction elevator, not even close. And then the internal elevators would be way on the other side of the building. So, early stages of building it, you get all the hangers and supports, right? It's the first phase. You need shit up to put the pipe in. Back in those days, we weren't prefabbed hangers. I had to order them raw, order the all thread, order the nuts and washers. Oh, I forgot the washers. You're dead in the water. So, and all this stuff has lead time because, I was hanging 20-inch carbon steel pipe. You can't go to Home Depot and get a 20-inch clevis hanger. You're not getting one, right? So, pre-order all this material. It starts showing up. And, of course, I have the broken toy crew. All the guys no one else wanted because I was a younger foreman. I think at that time I was a project foreman. And so I got all the guys no one else wanted. And relatively small crew. Well, I had this fat kid. I think he probably graduated high school 2 or 3 months before this day. And, he probably didn't make it to college. And, his parents, we better get a job. And, his dad knew the hiring manager. Either way, total Gomer, right? Heavyset kid. He and I got along because he wrestled in high school and actually did pretty well wrestling. And I was a wrestler, so that might be why he was on my crew.
Did he have more than one move?
I don't know. I didn't see him wrestling, but he was a heavyweight. And heavyweights in high school wrestling are 1 or 2 ways, right? They're just so big. They're on the very top end of the heaviest you could be. And that was this kid. And they just are mediocre strong. And no one else can beat them just because they're at the top end of the weight, right? I think 275 is the next you can weigh. So you're 275 in high school. If you weigh 217, you're wrestling that guy. So, I think he went to state, but didn't do anything. But anyways, all this material starts showing up. And these are clevis hangers, probably lightest of the material you're going to get for a mech room, right? It's not the pumps. It's not the butterfly valves. So this stuff starts showing up. I check it all in.
A clevis hanger is just a loop of steel that's designed to hang from the ceiling to hold pipe.
Thanks for clarifying that. I forget, not everyone is a plumber. But
not enough for plumbers. So
we go down the street, we unload the truck, and I get it all checked in. And you being a purchaser, you could appreciate that. So I'm making sure we're getting what we paid for. And if any of it's not right, I don't get it off the truck. And then 2 weeks later go, return it, Matt. So we get all off the truck. Now I got 3 or 4 of these apprentices looking at me. And they're like, now what? And I'm like, what do you think now what? We got to get this shit up to the room that we got to install it. And this fat kid looks at me and he's like, well, we're going to use a crane or an elevator or something? I'm like, dude, no, we're going to Chevrolet it up the stairs. And he thought I was the craziest guy ever Because, you know, I put 3 or 4 of these 20-inch clothes hangers on each arm and just started trucking up the stairs. And, you know, I'm the boss, and I'm Chevroleting this stuff. And I think for 3 hours, we took 30 or 40 trips up and down the stairs, carrying all through it. And this kid was just beat down. The point is, even though trading won't physically do that to you, like, you don't have to climb 5 stories of stairs with 140 pound worth of material. But what it will do is, if you're not ready for the challenges that come with trading, and it will kick your ass like that the stairwell did.
How long did that kid last?
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, right? Because he just didn't have the drive in him. You can make excuses, just like in trading. This indicator doesn't work. This strategy doesn't work. Clayton scammed me because his, you know, first 5 signals he put on a signal service, we took losses on. There is no shortcuts, guys. And that kid, in my mind, probably could have been good if he just had a little bit more work ethic in him, where he understood he's young, he understood he doesn't know anything, and this shit is hard. I'm going to have to climb stairs. One day, I'm going to be this guy, Clayton, who's telling me to run upstairs. And I'm not going to lie, when I first started out in the trades, and same kind of scenario, we were building this apartment building in 1997 in downtown Denver, and it was my first project, but all the guys that were seasoned on the project, it was their first cast iron waste and vent job. They'd only done PVC. So this job, it was spec'd cast iron. And dude, every time it was like, fuck cast iron, it's heavy, you gotta cut it with chain snaps.
It's brittle.
So I could say I've done cast iron waste and vent. Probably 98% of the waste event I've ever done is cast iron. Because, you know, when I went on to the bigger company, it's all we did. PVC wasn't allowed in projects that we were doing. But this project was cast iron, and I was a fresh green apprentice, and the journeyman didn't like carrying it. So I had to stock the units. And there was no crane, there was no elevator. This was a wood stick building, right? 4 stories. And I remember one day we were roughing in the 4th floor, and we had a decision to make. And just huge bunks of 4-inch cast iron, 4-inch and 3-inch, maybe, you know, 1,500 feet. And it's like, do we walk it up the stairs? And have you ever tried to carry a 10-foot stick of anything upstairs, like switchback stairs? It sucks, because you got to point it up. Then when you get to the switchback, you either got to try to squat down and eke your way around the corner, or you switch back the pipe. Well, cast iron, piece of 10-foot cast iron, it's not really easy to like cantilever it up and around. So I did like maybe 1 or 2, and then I was like, you know what? How about you stand in the 2nd story window, and then the other guy, the 3rd story, and another guy on the 4th story. And it seemed like a really brilliant idea. But have you ever tried to...
I haven't.
Have you ever tried to grab a 4-inch pipe and vertically lift it up to a guy above you who he fumbles and grabs the end? And dude, I'm telling you, my traps, my neck from... and dude, like 140 sticks... Right? And then, you know, now it's on 4th floor. Now you got to spread it out. But, you know, those days just teach you lessons, right? Like you can't stop. This job has to get done. You can't skip back testing. You can't skip the things that suck.
You cannot skip the pain.
Right. Can't skip leg day.
Cannot skip leg day.
No. I mean, if fitness is your goal, leg day is the most important day. And it's funny because you see these douchebags the curl jockeys in the gym. Never see them do legs. They never wear shorts because they're probably embarrassed. And
I have bigger legs than some of those guys.
well, it's just like,
by the way,
it's like if you are trying to work out to be healthier or fitness goals, and if your goal is to get big, I will tell you, being a big guy who's gotten big, and the quickest way to get bigger arms and chest and, you know, bigger DNA is you have to tax the biggest muscles in your body. And I'm sorry, there's nothing sexy about squats. Unless, you know, you're a smoking hot chick and you're standing behind her. But
having a big ass really helps with hockey, by the way.
well, power. You got to have power in those legs. And, you know, doing curls all day, you'll get some size in your biceps. But the only way to truly change your, you know, make your body, the physiology of your body, say, holy shit, dude, we've got to be a bigger dude, is you've got to just crush your legs.
The sun's been out and it's warm. It's almost summer. It feels like summer.
It's summer. The equinox. Yeah.
I have a critical question to set the tone for summer.
Okay.
When you go inside or you meet somebody and you want to make eye contact, where should the sunglasses go when they're not covering your eyes? Where do you put it?
Me, I have two places. If I'm wearing a hat,
There are wrong answers, by the way.
I'm sure mine are wrong in the map world.
I don't make this shit up, dude.
I'll bite. So I have two. Okay. If I'm wearing a hat, which I know you hate, but I'm bald, so there's times I wear.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I will put my sunglasses on above the brim, and, you know, just snug to my head, almost where you forget that you even have them.
Completely acceptable.
Okay. Second place. If I'm not wearing a hat, and generally if I'm wearing like collared shirt, which you think I look uncomfortable in, I fold it and I hang it from the chest. Which,
You might as well put a sweater or tie around your neck if you're going to do that.
well, dude, it's handy. I'm sorry. What do you want me to put it on my glaringly bald head? Like a visor?
Well, it depends on the sunglasses, doesn't it? If you have aviators, you can clip it. But if you have wraparounds, it can go on the crown of your head. That's fine.
No, I'm an aviator guy.
Okay. Have you seen the drool cup? Have you seen this move?
I will tell you the moves I hate. Yes,
It's
where the earpiece is a little tight and it's just dangling.
and it looks like a drool cup. It's dangling underneath his chin. Have you seen that?
I hate that.
You might as well have a lacrosse lanyard if you're going to rock that.
Here's the one I hate the
And
most.
pull out Dave Matthews' Crash from 97,
Here's the one I hate the most.
95.
I hate the reverse ball cap and then they put it upside down or backwards around their neck.
Oh, backwards around their neck. like the reverse choke.
Right, like the sunglasses are upside down, but they
Right.
put it around their neck like Brian Bosworth.
Good old Brian. Look at you with your pole, bud. Seattle.
I love that guy.
He had a feud with Vance Johnson, the receiver for the Broncos,
Who runs a trucking company here in Denver, by the way.
whose haircut was just like Brian Bosworth, and he called it the Vance, and Brian Bosworth called his haircut the Boz. Anyway, have you seen this one where they clip it to the back of the shirt? You seen that move?
No. I'm starting to visualize it, though. So what? You're too good to have it in the front? It's in your way? Or it's blocking your selfie taking?
It's somebody who's spent way too much time thinking about it. It goes from the bridge of your nose to the top of the forehead. In your pocket is acceptable, or on top of your hat.
And where do you get these rules?
I observe, dude.
I'm a little worried, like...
Do you observe charts all day?
Yes.
All right. Well, Matt's watching all kinds of idiosyncrasies from people.
So you're like, how's he doing? See, now I'm not going to be able to forget it. I'm going to be inside.
I know. Rent-free, bud. Rent-free.
So I got a question. It's summer. Look, okay. I'm probably guilty of this. I'm getting a little more conscious of it because, you know, look, I've been a married dad for a long time. Dad for 5 years, but married 11. I wouldn't say I've gone as far as like the khaki tucked in shorts, like mom jeans. But I've been known summertime to just rock flip flops pretty much everywhere.
That's okay. Do you have socks on?
No.
All right.
No, but I don't know. Some people are like, dude, you can't wear flip flops everywhere. And I'm like, dude, they're comfortable. I mean, there's nothing I like more than the summer months where all I need is my flip flops, t-shirt, and shorts. And you just evolve around, different variations of shorts and t-shirts, maybe a golf shirt, if you're going to something a little nicer, or you want to look a little bit more sophisticated. But so you're saying flip-flops, okay, pretty much anywhere?
For most occasions, yes. Especially...
They're nice flip-flops. I mean, paid $100 for them.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
They're leather.
Another binary options trader got caught scamming people. Can you believe that?
Am I surprised? No.
What is a binary options trader?
Quite honestly, I'm going to say I haven't studied it enough to really talk about it. I can tell you options is basically where you're taking a position where you think price will go. The binary, I don't know. I see it all over, and all of it just smells so scammy that quite honestly, I couldn't comment on it. I could tell you it kind of goes along the lines of the 15-year-old who's telling you I'm the crypto captain of the world. They always have the Bitcoin sign in there. Dude, you're 15.
Financefeeds.com is a pretty good website.
Finance feeds.
Doing the newsletters forced me to find all of these sources for the industry. It's been actually quite a lot of fun.
Do you do FinViz?
No.
I like FinViz.
From financefeeds.com, I'm going to quote an article here. The order, the document, the court document, finds that from March 16, 2017 through February 21, 2018, Butler, in his individual capacity and on behalf of NCI, unlawfully solicited and accepted $305,000 from more than 70 customers to trade binary options contracts, defrauded those customers, and operated as an unregistered commodity trading advisor. In particular, the order finds that Butler misrepresented his treatment of customers' deposits totaling between $500 and $5,000, claiming he would pool those funds into a single trading account and that he, acting as the trader for NCI, would use them to trade binary options on the customer's behalf. The order also finds that Butler misled customers that he would deposit each customer payment of $5,000 or more into separate customer trading accounts, and Butler would, for a fee, manage and trade binary options on behalf of customers.
So basically, what you're saying is he advertised himself as a legal commodities trader advisor, which takes licensing and regulation to do, by the way. So he took people's money, promised them returns, sounds like we see all over. Give me $5,000 or give me, the ones I love is now they're in like Rand, South African Rand. Do you have 500 Rand? I'll give you 1,500 Rand each week, every 2 weeks, but you just paid me 20%. Too good to be true type stuff.
It was commodities.
So was he running a Ponzi scheme? Because
it was violations of the Commodities Exchange Act.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Ponzi schemes work really well if you have an endless amount of new investors.
From the article, instead of trading customer funds as promised, shocker!
He was buying cars.
Butler misappropriated most funds for his personal benefit, including spending tens of thousands of dollars on jewelry, purchases at an electronics store, and retail gift cards.
What an idiot. It's one level to take investors' money and actually attempt to trade it and just suck.
That's not a scam. That's just a bad investment.
Well, it is if you're not licensed and
sure.
You gave them falsified historical data, which is common, right? Like, I'm the world's best Bitcoin trader. Give me your money and I'll trade it for you, right? That's one level of a scammer, right? Or even, let's just say the guy gives you his real historical data and he's a pretty good trader and he takes investor money, pulls it to one account, just has a bad year and loses people money. I wouldn't even call that guy a scammer, but if he didn't have the regulations and the licensing to do so, he's going to go down. In America, you can't trade other people's money unless you are licensed and you are regulated. Now, there is some rules, right? There's some loopholes, right? The friends and family. You could trade up to 25 people's money under $30 million, which is a pretty big number, and still be kind of covered under the friends and family. And guys, I'm no equities lawyer, you know, I'm just going off what I've investigated, and, you know, I'm not trying to come across like I'm the guy that know all these rules. You can trade your friends and family's capital if it's labeled right. However, and I don't think you could charge them fees, the normal fee structure. I think they could pay you a little bit of money, right? But if you're charging a percentage of the returns and you're out there advertising on the internet and IG, I don't know if you fall under that. You're my buddy, and if you gave me some money and I was trading it for you and we had a deal worked out, it's a little different. So now you got another level of scammer. Someone who is falsifying historical, you know, to make themselves look like the world's best trader, taking investment funds, actually trying to trade it, but they really don't know what they're doing. And then they're banana head and they blow up their account. You know, that guy's one level. But if you're taking investors' money, telling them you're trading it, and you're buying jewelry and cars and bullshit for your own personal gain, those guys deserve life in prison, if you ask me. I mean, I'm sorry, but to me, you might as well be a rapist. And that's pretty deep. But those are the kind of class I put those people. Going out there, mostly because I love trading. I love investing. It's become my life. And there's so many of these freaking douchebags out there talking a good game, faking it to make it, and taking innocent people's money and buying Rolexes with it. Like, to me, those people don't deserve to walk in this realm. All this talk is why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Because I want people, rather than gravitating to these type of people who boast about how good they are and give me your money, I'll trade it for you. I'd rather them invest their time and a little bit of their risk capital in educating themselves and finding someone they trust. And that's a big word. Trust is very hard to come by these days. But even if this person doesn't have the best trading record, but if they're willing to show it to you, they're willing to work with you, they're willing to talk to you on the phone. It's amazing how many people today don't even talk on the phone. You gave someone $1,500 that you never talked to? Fuck. But if you really want to learn how to trade, you really want to trade yourself, do the homework, vet this person, get involved with them, maybe spend $200 on whatever they're selling, but it's $200. It's not $5,000 because you just want someone else to do it. It's not that easy, people. It's not that easy.
But it's doable.
But it is doable. I mean, I am a perfect example of, you know, you poke fun at me with my English, right? And my murdering of words. And if I had to spell those words, I would murder it even more.
And your geography.
And my geography and my hairline. I mean, but I'm a real human being who never thought in the beginning of my adulting, I never thought I'd be a plumber. but I was good at it. And then plumbing is a very great trade. You can make a lot of money being a plumber. You can make even more money if you own the plumbing company. I mean, ridiculous amounts of money, right? No one gets through life without crossing paths with a plumber. You have water, plumber. You take poop, plumber. You need gas, plumber. Your kids flush the Christmas tree down the toilet, plumber.
We have a few of our audience, a few of our friends in our Journeyman as well as our community channel on Telegram who are English. And I said, my British in-laws say that it's a 6-month wait for a plumber. Both of them confirmed, 3 to 6 months. Because if you're a good plumber, you're locked in.
High demand.
You have a backlog and you're turning down work.
Right.
Always.
So being in a trade like plumbing and being very good at it and be able to manage large crews and make money, which is the goal, margins and money, I never thought I would need to seek anything else. But what was a hobby at one time, or just this drive or need to figure this out, which most plumbers are, believe it or not, I'm in a lot of plumbing groups on Facebook and Instagram. It's pretty common most plumbers can't spell, because it's one of the only groups I'm in where if there's a misspelled word, 10 people don't try to fix it. Like today, auger. This guy just murdered auger.
OGAR?
Yeah, I can't even tell you how he spelled it, but we all knew what he was talking about. And it was probably one of the only few times people were like, did you mean auger? And, a bunch of people actually got jumped on the dude who corrected him. Like, whatever, freaking Karen, we know what he's talking about. Leave him alone. If I'm a perfect example of, if you have the drive, you can look past the complexities of something and break it down. It is doable. You can take control of your own finances. You can grow a small account. I highly advise you seek some help. I did it mostly on my own, but I had an avenue. It's no secret that early in my trading career, I partnered up with Rob Booker, who's done very well for himself and, does a lot of educational stuff out there. I'm not promoting him, or I'm not condoning a lot of the stuff he does now are what we used to make fun of, right? I make 2,300% on one trade by this system. And I love Rob to death, but, he's become corporate and, he's sponsored by brokers. You got to take that with a grain of salt now. Is he just pushing the broker because he's getting paid? Or is it really a good broker? It is doable. And you can navigate these waters. You can make consistent gains. It's far better than going to Vegas and hoping and praying that you win.
Is hope a strategy?
No. So, are you the fat kid that's looking for the elevator? Or are you the fat kid who knows he has a long road to travel before he gets to where he's at? That's what you got to ask yourself. If you want to get in trading and you want to turn this into your career, you're going to have to take the stairs. So if you're really serious about it, go to allenfx.com, fill out the form. Don't worry, I don't send a bunch of stupid emails that you're going to unsubscribe 10 years later after you get 10 a day, which I spend about an hour a month doing on my... But I am launching some trading courses that I think will fit the mold. If you're really interested in them, they're going to be very, very fairly priced. They're 26 hours right now of great, great content. And, you'll be on the first list to take these courses. I'd love to have you guys in there. Of course, the videos aren't perfectly edited and I have a glare off my bald head. And I have different backgrounds because I went through a separation in the middle of making them, and broken computer, All of which is great content for these videos, but I'm excited to be launching them here in the next week or two. I'm working on the website now. So if you go to Allen FX right now, you fill out the form, you're going to start getting Matt's newsletter, which is pretty witty and funny, by the way. And you're going to be on the short list. You'll be the first crowd of people to get access to these courses. And, if you've been listening to us for a while, you've been thinking about it, these are designed just for that. There's an apprentice course, 12 videos. And then you graduate up to the journeyman course. And that's all about discretionary trading with strategies, psychology. And of course, you get access to the apprentice course too. So if you've never traded before, you can take both. And then, of course, the master class is all about automation, the EA I use. And I'm going to take people every 6 weeks. I'm going to do a class no bigger than 30 people. And it's going to be pretty much as one-on-one as I can. And they're going to copy my trades that I trade with the robot for 6 weeks. They're going to learn how I do it. They're going to learn exactly the settings and how to change them on their own if they choose to do so. And then at the end of it, when they graduate, I'm going to give them the EA that I use, all the settings that I have that we were using, show them how to set it up, and be there for them when things go awry. So I'm really excited about it. It's been a long time coming, but we're there. We're there, dude.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us next week.
Over now.
If you'd like to learn more about Clayton's signals, please visit www.allenfx.com. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram at OFPMatt.